In this unit, we examine something you have watched 10,000 times from the passenger seat and have almost certainly never once stopped to question. It is night. The road ahead is nearly black. Your headlights find the painted line, and it does something the road around it does not. It glows bright and crisp, while the asphalt beside it stays dead and dark. Ordinary paint does not do that. So what exactly is in that line? And here is the stranger part. Why does the light come back to you? Straight back along the road to your eyes. Today we find out what is hiding in the paint. Part 1. The line that glows. A dark country road, no streetlights, just 2 cones of light, and beyond them, blackness. And yet the lines, the dashes down the center, the stripe along the edge, those you see perfectly, sharp and pale, as if someone had switched on a light beneath the paint. Here is the real question. Your headlights throw light everywhere, so why does almost none of it come back, except from the lines? Hold on to that. To reach the answer, we have to look much closer. Part 2. The glass in the paint. So let us get close enough to run a fingertip along a fresh white line. It is not smooth. It is faintly gritty, like very fine sandpaper. That roughness is the secret. Mixed into that paint, or more often showered onto it while it is still wet, are millions of tiny beads of clear glass. Let that sit for a moment. Actual glass, in the road paint, tiny, perfectly clear spheres, each smaller than a grain of salt. They are called glass microspheres, ordinary soda lime glass, the same as a bottle or a window pane, and they are not floating loose. Each sphere sits pressed into the paint at just the right depth, half sunk into the marking, half standing above the surface. Remember that half and half. It matters enormously, so we know what is in the line, but not yet why the light comes back. For that, we follow a single ray into a single bead. Part 3. One bead, traced. Picture one glass sphere, magnified until it fills the screen, half sunk in white paint. Now here comes one thin ray from your headlamp, striking the front of the bead. Watch closely, this is the heart of the whole lesson. As the ray passes from air into glass, it bends. That is why a straw looks broken in a glass of water. And the curved front of the sphere steers every incoming ray inward toward a single point at the back of the bead. There, the ray meets the white paint the bead is buried in, and bright paint does what bright surfaces do. It bounces the light back, out through the glass, toward the front. And here is the quiet miracle of the shape. Because a sphere is perfectly round, the same curve that bent the ray coming in, bends it again going out, sending it back nearly parallel to the way it arrived, aimed straight at your headlights. In, bend, focus, bounce, bend, back. The whole trip happens faster than you can say the word light, and it has a name. When a surface sends light back toward wherever it came from, we call it retroreflection. Not a mirror, not a scatter, a return. Part 4. Why you and not the oncoming car? Now we can finally answer it. Why you? And only you. Think about a plain white wall. It scatters. Light sprays off in every direction, so only a tiny fraction finds its way back to your eyes. That is why plain paint looks dull at night. Now a flat mirror. It does not scatter, but it does not help you either. It bounces your light off at an angle, like a ball off a wall, and away it goes, anywhere but back at you. A glass bead does neither. It takes your light, turns it around and hands it straight back down the exact path it came in on, to the source, your headlights, which sit just below your eyes. So here is the reveal this whole unit was built for. On a dark road, the line is not being lit up by your car. It is handing your own light back to you. The road is not glowing. The road is answering. Part 5. Laying it down and why the rain undoes it. A trick this elegant deserves a clever way of building it. Picture the striping truck creeping along the highway at dawn. It does 2 jobs in one pass. A nozzle sprays the wet paint in a clean stripe, and a fraction of a second behind it, a second dispenser rains the glass beads onto the paint while it is still tacky. The timing is everything. The beads land and sink, but only part way, but into paint just wet enough to grab them and firm enough to hold them at that perfect half-buried depth before it dries. A whole road's worth of tiny lenses planted in a single drive-by. But every elegant trick has a weakness, and this one is famous. Rain. On a wet night, the lines get harder to see, and now you know why. Water wraps each sphere in a film that changes how the light bends. The careful geometry is thrown off, and the bright lines seem to vanish into the wet black road. It is the same glass. It has just for a while lost its voice. The review card. A painted line is not paint alone, but a field of countless tiny glass spheres, each half sunk and waiting. A single bead takes a ray of your headlight, bends it, bounces it off its own back, and returns it along the path it came. Retroreflection. That is why the line lights up for you, and not for the driver across the median. The best inventions are often the ones we are lucky enough to never notice. A road built out of glass, too small to see, working silently beneath your headlights, handing you your own light back so that you can find your way home. Class dismissed.